Welcome to today's video. Now, before we get stuck into fixing all the things we broke on the lifted Miata yesterday, we need to make a stop to the best place for Miata parts, and that is of course Treasure Coast Miata. So I'm gonna jump in the truck with Chris because he needs parts too, because we both broke stuff. But anyways, that aside, I actually think a lot of the things that I broke on that car were already previous issues with the car, because like there was like Ziploc bags zip tied around the axles and gloves around the tie rod ends and just a bunch of dodgy stuff on that car to keep it together, which makes sense because you don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on something that you're just going to destroy. You know, I guess bush bashing is what we call it in Australia, or raging through the forest here, whatever, or the woods. Anyway, so we're going to do some maintenance on the thing, get some good parts for it. Going to change the suspension out as well, get some, maybe some like better condition OEM ones with stiffer springs or something. See what we can work with, but we're gonna go jump in the truck and head there now. We just got here at Treasure Coast and Octavia has been laying out parts for me. These diffs here are both for me and Chris. They're the 4318s. Obviously I need axles because I'm going to the 1.8 setup, and the 1.6 has different axles. And then we've got the drive shaft over here. We've got every seal under the sun for that engine, so it's all sealed up. I got some new tie rod ends. I got a new shift boot cover because mine's torn and destroyed. This little seal as well, it's for the shifter that then bolts it and holds it into the top of the transmission to stop mud and things getting in there. And for those second gear mid-puddle clutch kicks and shifting banging, we got ourselves a nice little brass, what do they call this, like bushing for the shifter, so that'll tighten things up there. Gates water pump, Gates timing service kit and everything, so little off-road Miata is going to be looking pretty good. No more leaks or anything like that. We obviously got rear mains and stuff in there as well, and a whole bunch of cam seals. Man, he really hooked it up. We also got the cam angle sensor O-ring. We got some tie rod ends there to fix the floppy ones that are on there right now. And the off-road Miata is going to feel great. Ooh, I nearly forgot. The suspension in the off-road Miata is actually really shot and floaty. So these actually came from Japan. This came out of his Yunos over there. Some really good shocks, the new SR Specials. You see all the Japanese on them there. So yeah, these are gonna go in and replace the ones with really bad shocks and stuff. And it's just really bad, the current ones. They just float like when you're driving it on the road and stuff, and you can really feel like it just isn't like all that there when you're driving. I'm sure you could see in the video from yesterday they were bad, but that's gonna really help out. So we're just here in Horrible Freight and getting some four-wheel drive supplies. Can't really go wrong with a 20-foot long tow strap. Then we're going to try and get some D-shackles so that we can put those on as well and make things a little bit legit, because, yeah. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's a tie-down thing. You kind of need that for your trailer. Yeah. So time warping ahead, I'm now at HP Logic and I'm going to actually start welding the diff for the off-road Miata. You guys have already seen me do this before, so let's get it done. So I'm now in the process of just putting the diff back together after successfully welding it. And as you guys know, we've got the fresh RTV on there, just nipping it down softly, wait for it to dry for 15-20, then I'll go around and torque everything to spec. That way we're not gonna have any issues with sealing and diff fluid leaking out, because that's a bad time. So for now, I'm gonna actually put this aside. I'm so excited to put this in the car, you have no idea. But we'll put this aside, and I'm actually gonna work a little bit on this Miata. I need to just adjust the clutch pedal. I was doing a bunch of research on Flying Miata's website, and the rep there sent me some instructions to just double check that my clutch engagement is in the right place. Because what can happen is with this aftermarket clutch and stuff, it brings it really close to the floor. Now I personally, like in my Skyline and Sylvia, I like a clutch when it's close to the floor, but only like 1.5 inches. This feels like it's a lot closer, and I think it's not fully disengaging. So I want to make sure that I've adjusted everything according to the website. So I'm going to go and do that now, and then what I'll do is I'll bring in the off-road Miata, and we'll start tearing that thing apart and replacing gasket seals and pretty much everything under the sun. Like, I got so much stuff from Treasure Coast Miata for it today, and I'm so excited to get that thing feeling and handling so much better. So anyways, let this cure for a bit, then I'll tighten it. Meanwhile, let's sort out the clutch pedal. So I just had a quick look under here, and I'm actually really concerned about just how rusted out that looks, and I'm worried if I'm not going to be able to adjust it. So my plan of attack is to start off by spraying with some brake cleaner to clean off any dirt and stuff there, and then I'm going to hit it with some WD-40 or PB Blaster and just hope that that is enough to get that freely moving. If not, I do have a replacement pin and pedal. So fingers crossed that we can get that moving without having to make this a full-blown pedal replacement job. So I'm gonna put this here so nothing kind of goes on the carpet, and then we'll hit that with some brake cleaner and hopefully we can get it moving. So it definitely seems like it's cleaned it up a bunch, and I've just got some of this stuff here soaking on it right now, Rostov from Worth. I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling pretty lightheaded now from all those fumes of just sticking my head in there and spraying with brake cleaner and that stuff. So I'm gonna get some air for a bit while I let that soak in. So I was able to successfully adjust the clutch. This stuff worked wonders, and in fact, once I loosened the locking nut, I was able to just spin it freely and all the rust kind of just fell right off. So that was really good. So now we need to test and make sure that the clutch is fully disengaging properly. There's pretty much no play in the pedal now. So what that then means is, because there's no play, the rod is already pushed up against the master cylinder ready to go. So I get more extension. Essentially the slave is going to push longer, or you know, more, I guess is the easiest way to describe it. So I'm going to make sure this thing's in neutral. So you're not supposed to start it when your foot's on the clutch. If you put your foot on the clutch when the engine's not running, that's fine. It's only when you go to crank it. All right, so here we go. Fingers crossed, wheel G. All right, she's running. Now the ultimate test is revving with your foot on the clutch. So right now we're in neutral, right? So we're not really going to be moving anywhere because it's already engaged the clutch, but the transmission's in neutral. The trick is putting your foot on the clutch and then giving it a rev and seeing if the car wants to creep forward. Which it doesn't. So that means I've adjusted the clutch correctly, and it's properly disengaging when I'm putting my foot on the clutch, which is great. That's exactly what we needed to do. So a little tip for you guys. I'm sure it's something that a lot of you need to do if you're upgrading your clutch or don't know how to do. If your clutch pedal has a lot of play in it, that's how you fix it. This is definitely a new experience. I don't think I've ever put something so high up on Ruddy's lift. So it's time to go over, I guess, the jacked up off-road Miata. You know what? I don't actually know what I need to call this. If any of you guys have any suggestions of what we should name this car for the channel, please let me know. I was thinking like Mia truck, as in like Miata, but take away the last A and add URK, like Mia truck or something. I don't know. That was just something that kind of came to mind. Geez, you can really see there's some camber alignment issues in the rear there. All right, so we got this thing up on the hoist. Let's go through and look at all the damage and what the previous owners have done and all that kind of stuff. So right off the bat, we can see that I definitely took a fair bit of things with me from the place we went to the other day. And even though I hit this with a big pressure washer and stuff, there's still things in here that I just couldn't get to that I'm gonna probably have to clean out. We have to do engine mounts on this, as you guys know. One of the engine mounts is completely split. Luckily, I have brand new ones over there. One thing I've noticed as well is these tie rods have gloves zip tied to them, so they're probably shot, which is why we got some new ones of those. Ew, that's gross. It just sprayed stuff all over me. I don't have a front sway bar. No, I do. It's here. It's just been zip tied up. Okay. I wonder if you're meant to run sway bars on this, which explains why this thing feels so like kind of sketchy at high speeds. Interesting. I'm gonna do some research later and see if we can get the sway bars hooked up because I feel like that would just make this thing drive a lot better, especially like when we're like driving to the places and stuff that we're going to be going off-roading. I don't know if maybe we don't even need them because we're using it for off-roading, but oh yeah, just need a boot for that. We need to clean that out, and hopefully the rack's okay. We'll test that. I'm gonna get this thing aligned as well. We can see under here, leaky rear main. Bit of engine oil there, not too bad though. And there's no catalytic converter, so someone's done an exhaust job on this. It's not leaking, which is kind of nice. I'm not sure who welded that, maybe Damien did. But overall, it's not too bad. This dinky muffler is definitely restrictive and taking away a bunch of stuff. We're gonna do a good old choppy here, I think, and kind of aim it down. Just because I want to hear this thing. Oh wow, I tore that yesterday. Oof. We'll fix that. But overall, like, I'm kind of really surprised about this chassis. Oh yeah, you can really see that my axle's completely shot on both sides. This is this one. It's also, is it destroyed here too? No. Destroyed here. Look at that. And kind of torn in there as well. So yeah, and for those of you wondering, this is the Paco 3-inch lift kit. It kind of like slots into the OEM position here and then gives you a new position here for your suspension to connect to. And these are the struts and the OEM suspension that just feels like it's not doing its job. You can see that this has been marked for alignment and is kind of in the right place, but you can see that this was marked and is now down here. So something definitely is up on this side. Oh wow, that's so hard to move. Things in neutral. I just want to see if it's like got any wobble. It looks pretty good other than like all that camber there. But yeah, overall not too bad. Honestly, I'm really surprised. The chassis rails are in good condition. Even the lips are like and I don't really see like any rust in all the usual places on Miatas. This is actually kind of a really good shell. There's literally, like, this is the normal place here where on all Miatas you have like one rust spot. There's nothing. I need to bedline this thing ASAP and preserve it. Even on this side, nothing. I drilled a few holes for drainage and stuff. You can kind of see it like all dripping out. So I'm gonna definitely probably bedline the inside and out of this thing at some point soon. Huh. Interesting. This thing, it's been getting, oh wow, yep, we got this thing jammed and stuck on that control. Oh, okay, we'll pull that off entirely then. Interesting. Lots of weird things under here. I'm definitely going to be getting very dirty working on this thing. I think there's no question of that. But yeah, I think ultimately we did pretty well. Like 1900 is a lot for a clapped out Miata, don't get me wrong. One thing we did notice as well is that the engine on this is not the original engine. So even though the body has 350,000 miles on it, this has a long nose engine in it. And this is like a really old 90s one, 1991. So we got a long nose crank engine in here, which is actually really, really nice. So yeah, means at some point someone swapped an engine in this. So probably the engine has a lot lower miles than the chassis. I got some nice Mishimoto hoses here as well. Look at that. Yoshimura. Nice. Now this does have AC in here. I'm going to take a wild stab and guess that there's a leak or something here or what. I don't know. We're going to hook it up to the AC machine and see if it works, because that would just be hilarious if I could get working AC on this. Obviously I know that's going to restrict power, so it's going to be off all the time when I'm shredding, but it would just be funny if we could get it working. The tire, what was that noise just then? Oh yeah, look at that, upper control arm joints need to be replaced, but we can just replace the whole entire upper control arm at the same time. I'll get those tomorrow. Easy. Man, this is gonna be so much fun. Oh, I'm so excited to be modifying something and getting into off-road stuff with this car. But yeah, like relatively, this is honestly not that bad. This is pretty good. Like the wheels and tires alone are worth like a lot, like over $1,000. So like, because these are diamond racing wheels, and then the Maxxis tires alone, like that's like $1,200 worth of stuff here. And then if you add the price of a clapped out Miata, like this thing honestly doesn't really have rust even in the wheel wells. Like you can see there's some places here that have been bogged up, but that looks like from damage, not from rust. Like all in all, this chassis actually looks like it's in really good condition. Oh man, what a shame that it's now an off-road vehicle and I'm on the channel because it's going to get abused a lot. So yeah, all in all, I think we did really, really well for the money that we spent. So my priority is, I think I'm going to modify this exhaust first. That's like the easiest, funnest thing to do. So let's go get some safety glasses on and get the Saver-Saw out. Oh man, I'm gonna have way too much fun with this. That's not a bad cut either. Put it on a nice angle. Hell yeah, it's gonna be perfect. Alright, let's get this muffler out of here. Almost want to wear the face shield no matter what I'm working on this car because it is filthy and something's definitely gonna fall in my eye. Weight reduction, bruh. I forgot to do the typical YouTuber thing and give you guys a before and after on exhaust, but you guys knew that this thing literally had a pea shooter. Like, literally, pea shooter. Thing was quiet, sounded terrible. Now this thing should sound pretty good. So let's bring it down and just see what it sounds like. I wouldn't mind putting a little muffler on that, maybe only just a resonator, honestly. But for now, that's going to be well and truly enough. This thing is just so restrictive and tiny that I think this was like a big power loss for us. And it's pretty heavy too, so weight reduction is light. But just like a little resonator on that would honestly be perfect. So anyways, I'm going to throw this out in the dumpster, and then we'll start working on some other stuff. So I'm already trying to strip out all of this interior. We just don't need this stuff. So I'm taking it all out, and these door cards, honestly, I really do not like them. I'm sure at some point someone liked them and that's why they made them, and maybe they look good then, but these things have definitely seen a lot of water and stuff and just do not look good. So we are definitely removing them. Oh yeah, this is so satisfying. This is totally like old school kind of sex spec type of interior where they just would like put this weird leather coating stuff over everything. I used to have this really old like Nissan Pulsar that was like full sex spec. Those are the good old days, young Sam buying random cars on eBay. Anyways, that's this one almost off. And instead of having to take the handle off, I just kind of yank on that like that and bam! Hell yeah, that's that off. Easy as pie. And then I kind of pull this plastic off too. I might leave it on this one. This one's not all torn up too bad, so I don't know, we'll see. I ripped the one off that one and I'll go over with brake cleaner and get that goo stuff off. These 6x9s, oh yeah, that doesn't seem too happy, hey. Yeah, that's not looking happy. I might buy a random pair like of cheap ones off eBay, just so I can get the stereo working in here, because having Beats while you know, paddock bashing and going through the woods and stuff like that would be so sick. Anyways, I kind of have accomplished everything I really wanted to do tonight. I mean, in a perfect world, I really was hoping to get like the diff in it, do clutch and transmission and stuff like that. But I think I'm gonna wake up super early tomorrow and get a head start on that. For now, I've kind of like assessed everything I need to deal with on the car, and I'm pretty happy to leave things where we're at now. We'll send this thing up, bring the cars in, and then that way tomorrow I can get stuck straight away. Diff, I want to take the transmission out, change the clutch. I want to do rear main and all that kind of stuff while we're in there. Have a bunch of stuff for the shifter. I can't remember if I showed this to you or not, but while we were at Treasure Coast before we left, we actually found a hoop. bar. So I'm going to be putting that on this as well. So the thing's going to have a bar, like in case we roll and things like that, it'll be a bit safer. So yeah, all of this is going to be in the car tomorrow. Suspension, the whole lot. I'm actually also still planning to go to Treasure Coast again tomorrow to get some more parts and things like that. So this thing's going to be pretty legit by the time we're done. And I know it's an off-road vehicle, but still, like, you want to make it reliable and safe to the point where, because like this thing, like I am definitely not taking it easy, and it would be probably pretty easy to put yourself in a tight situation where you could get very seriously hurt with something like this, especially at the speeds that we've been bombing some of those trails at. So it's just good to make things safer, handle better and stuff like that, which is why I'm kind of sketched out that none of the sway bars are hooked up in this thing. Anyways, let's leave it at that, I think. Send her up. So I hope you enjoyed this video, kind of like an overview of the car, where it's at now, what's broken and wrong with it, what we need to do. A little bit of stuff we kind of did on it. Obviously we got the diff welded and prepped and ready to go in tomorrow. We stripped out some of the interior, just took off the door cards and stuff like that. And I mean, we got to do something about the soft top. We need a soft top that actually encloses it. So, you know, we'll go hit up our guys at Treasure Coast again. But for now, I think we're gonna leave where we're at, like I said, and I'm just gonna go home and enjoy a good night's sleep and wake up early and smash this out tomorrow. We've got so much to get done on the thing. Thing's gonna be so much more legit tomorrow. I'm just pumped for shenanigans again, just go out there and just get stuck in the mud and get pulled out. I really want to try and find a bash bar for this thing. So if any of you guys, I don't know if you have a bash bar available, if you're selling one or if you make them, I need one that's not really a drifter's one that's suitable for putting a winch on and winching people out. I'm not saying like four-wheel drives or anything, just like other little Miatas, like a little crappy winch, like that kind of stuff. So if any of you guys have anything like that, please DM me on Instagram. I'm also looking for a rear bumper bash bar. That would be kind of sick. I don't mind if that's a drift one, but that can't be super low like the drifting ones, you know. It needs to be nice and high because this is an off-road Miata, not a drifter. So anyways, that aside, if any of you guys have anything like that, or you have anything that you think I could use on my new off-road Miata, please hit me up in the DMs on Instagram. You see my Instagram's down in the description. And with that, guys, smash that like button, write us a comment, and I'll see you all in tomorrow's video. Peace out. Jamata.